When I saw the scene where Jiro is smoking while working, I thought he was such a selfish guy. I thought, doesn't he know that he's shortening Naoko's life? But I was wrong. When Jiro says, I want to smoke, will you release my hand? She says, no, which is unusual for her. She never refuses what Jiro wants. So Jiro smokes with one hand. Jiro smokes when his work is going well. It is a sign that his work is on track. His brain becomes more active when the work is going smoothly. That's why he starts to smoke. They're creating their own plane together, holding each other's hands. Naoko's blood flows through Jiro's body and it eventually breathes new life into the Kyushi single-seater fighter plane. Naoko doesn't want anybody to help her live. That's not what she wants. She wants to be the one to help. She wants to take care of Jiro. She wants to help him create planes. But Jiro doesn't realize her intentions. So it is similar to the story of Twilight Crane. She is like the crane weaving the fabric with her own feathers and telling the old couple never to enter her room. She weaves her own life. That's why she doesn't let go of his hand. That's because she knows that her life is being used to create the Zero Fighter planes. That is the only way she can share life with this man who knows nothing but planes. Of course, he can always compliment her and say she's beautiful, but she's more than that. She's an active person. She knows that to be part of this man's life, she has no choice but to help him make Zero Fighter planes. If Naoko didn't escape the sanatorium, the Zero Fighter planes would never have been completed. There's a scene where Jiro says, I owe it all to you. I thought first that he was thanking her for supporting him, but this is actually a dark fantasy. As if they were in the demon world, her pulse flows through Jiro's body, and they create a plane together, the fruit of their love. But eventually, this Zero Fighter plane destroys Japan. The structure of the story is pretty extreme. I divided the film into blocks. Then I gradually began to realize that there was a connection between each block and the next. They're all connected. Naoko never consults Jiro about what to do. I am going to the sanatorium. I am escaping the sanatorium. I am going back to the sanatorium once my job is done. She never consults with Jiro about her decisions. She decides on her own. She's very independent. She decides to stay beside him until the plane is completed. And as soon as her job is done, she goes back to the sanatorium because there's nothing else to do. Kurokawa's wife says she only wanted to show her beautiful side, but she doesn't understand Naoko fully. She saw half of Naoko, but the other half of Naoko says, I simply have nothing more to do. She wanted to be with Jiro because she wanted to help, not just because she loved Jiro. She has guts and she's extremely active, just like all the other heroines in Miyazaki films. Miyazaki is objecting to Isao Takahata's claim that we no longer need fantasies. This is a dark fantasy. He's saying that reality is the fantasy. A poor country yearning for planes. A woman sacrificing her life for her husband. If this isn't fantasy, what is? This is his powerful antithesis against Takahata's thesis. After Jiro completes his plane, Naoko leaves him. Kurokawa's wife has a woman's view, but I think Naoko is a very strong person. Jiro remembered Okinu, who he met during the Great Kanto earthquake. That's because she was pretty. Nahoko knows that Jiro didn't remember her because she wasn't pretty enough. But now, because Jiro tells her that she is pretty, she concludes that he'll remember her even if she goes back to the sanatorium. That's why she goes back. Jiro doesn't know that Nahoko has left him while he's experimenting with his plane. This is the scene where the single-seater fighter plane flies. It executes the amazing Immelman turn. The plane makes a circle while rotating. It flies like this. It gains altitude at full speed, but it flips and flies upside down and comes back around while losing altitude. It twists and circles forward while rising. Oh my god! Someone fell out of the cockpit. I'll pick him up later. The plane never loses speed during this exercise. When a plane gains altitude, twists, and makes a circle, it would have been natural for it to lose speed back then. So this is a high-performance plane. It can turn while maintaining dynamic lift. It somersaults. And it's not even a biplane. It's a monoplane. Afterwards, the wind blows and Jiro senses something strange. Miyazaki didn't want anything too dramatic. Miyazaki once criticized Osamu Tezuka. Miyazaki didn't like the fact that Tezuka kills off his characters just to make the audience cry. Tezuka did this to evoke emotions in the audience, but Miyazaki didn't like that. So, he didn't want Jiro to be absent from Nahoko's deathbed. He didn't want Jiro to rush home and say, "The plane is finished," only to find out that she's already dead. Miyazaki wanted to avoid that. That's why Nahoko leaves Jiro. Nobody knows whether they will see each other again. Nobody knows whether Nahoko dies or not. It's a story about the death of Nahoko and Japan. Jiro loved both of them because of their beauty. He creates Zero fighter planes and tries so hard to keep Japan alive, but he fails. He fails to save Japan. He fails to save everything that was beautiful to him. In the opening scene, Jiro tries to save the girls in the spinning mill. He tries to save the beautiful landscape of the rice paddies from the attack of the German airship, but he fails miserably. So this opening sequence is a summary of the whole story. In the first half, this is actually the second half because the lecture before was the first. I talked for an hour and 10 minutes, so I'll say the rest in the limited part. But let's do the questionnaire first. The second half is a continuation of this one. I'll go a bit faster in the limited part, and I'll talk about Germany. Okay.